Hello everyone and welcome to the January 2023 Energetic Insights. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Depika Mystery and I'm an intuitive guide, energy healer, coach and a consultant. And for over 3 years now, I've been sharing these insights on a month-by-month basis, and it's really geared up for those of you that are becoming more and more consciously aware of your intuitive and energetic abilities and are looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if that sounds like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. So welcome everyone to 2023. How are you feeling about the energies? I am most definitely feeling very positive about this year compared to the last 3 years. I feel that 2023 has a very different energy. It's much more faster. The way that the guides kind of put it was that there's this supersonic speed about 2023, and that every 3 months we're going to experience this kind of plot twist. So to really expect the unexpected. So that will be happening. The first one will be around end of March, beginning of April. The second one is end of June, beginning of July. And I feel these two plot twists has got a very similar sort of energy signature. Whereas the next two for September, end of September, beginning of October, end of December and beginning of January 2024, they have a different energy signature as well. So I feel that the plot twists are going to be towards the second half of the year is going to be very different in terms of the first half of the year. And what I was getting, because of this supersonic speed, that many of us are going to feel this sense of life is short, that we're going to have this sense of urgency that is going to kind of activate us to, that's going to actually propel us forward as well in life. So many of us will have this kind of urge to make the most of life, you know, and have no regrets. I can't even speak properly today. Have no regrets. So, you know, we'll be tuning into our heart's desire, following that a little bit more, giving ourselves that permission to really follow in and tune in with ourselves and following what it is that we're wanting. And we'll be more open to trying different things, new things. And there'll be this sense of acknowledgement of our fears and acknowledging the fears, making peace with the fears, and then still moving forward and doing what we want to do anyway, regardless of the fear that we still have within ourselves. And I think a lot of our fears are very much linked to trauma and the trauma that we've experienced in this lifetime, in past lifetimes. And so we freeze up a lot in that. So I think that, excuse me, I'm not pronouncing the words properly today. I still got a bit of a lingering cold, so I'm sorry if I sound a little bit funny, but just hopefully it'll make you laugh. My pronunciations of the English words are not working today at all. So where was I? Let's go back again. So there's this sense, what the guides were saying is that we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So more and more of us are going to find ourselves living each day as if it was our last day. And they say don't shy away from what your heart is desiring and live as each day is your last day. And there's this sense of more fulfillment, sense of more peace, a sense of more joy, because we have this deeper sense of acceptance of what is in this moment. So I think that although the last 3 months from October 2022 to December 2022, it was incredibly intense because we experienced this massive cosmic light frequency shift that peaked at the end of November. And I think throughout the year, last year, we had several major cosmic light frequency shift. And a lot of this, what the guides were saying is that, and I'll speak a little bit more about it in one of the themes that's coming up for this month, that a lot of this is, what's the word that I'm looking for? It cleared what needed to be cleared. And what the guides are saying about this month specifically is that to take it slow. This is a beautiful month, and it's a great month, and it's a great opportunity to really allow the shifts and the changes that we went through in 2022. For some of us, I think that this has been kind of bubbling away underneath the surface from 2020 and then 2021. So this month is really allowing all those pieces that have been kind of shaken up, stirred around and blown apart, to allow them to kind of fall into place and where they're meant to be residing within us. So there's this sense of peaceful energy that's coming through this month, and there's a sense of really deep integration. So the key thing here is those of you that are, are master doers and wants to be active and wants to do things all the time. This will challenge you this month to really take it easy and really take it slow to allow the integration to take place. And this is a thing of allowing rather than a thing of doing. Right. Before we move on to the themes for this month, let's take a quick recap of the themes for December, which were heart opening and grief, fire energy, endings and beginnings, and falling away. So if any of those themes are resonating with you, do go back and watch the December insights. And also it may be worth watching the November and October ones, because that will give you a sense of what you actually went through, because sometimes we can have these insights up front, but it's almost we have to take the time to reflect back to actually really realize what we've just kind of gone through and what the shifts and what the changes have actually brought into our lives and how we've actually benefited from it. So do go back and watch those insights. All right, let's move on to the first theme for this month. And this theme is called clarity. And the image that I got was, imagine that you've got this open water, the sea's open, and there's been a massive storm. And it's been all dark and grey and thunder and lots of rain. And it's almost like the clouds are clearing, the clouds are getting brighter and brighter and brighter, the sky is getting bluer and bluer and bluer. There's a beautiful rainbow in the distance, and then there's this kind of glistening that is happening on the surface of the seas where the waves are just lightly lapping, and you can see this kind of a diamond effect. So what the guys were saying about this theme is that the storm that was the major cosmic light frequency shift over the last 3 months, that is clearing. And with that clearing, there's more clarity that is coming through. And with this clarity, it's going to help us to really understand, especially those of you that are kind of sitting there wondering, what was all of this about? Why did I have to experience what I had to experience? Why am I still hurting? Why am my heart still heavy? Why am I not where I want to be? And you have all these whys, and you can't quite place the experiences that you've had. And I think the key thing here is to notice that nothing's been done to you, that you're not a victim, but you've had an experience. And that experience over the last 3 years, and it's funny, it's the last 3 months and the last 3 years, you've benefited from them. And the thing is, right now, there's an opportunity here to switch your perception to be able to see it as a benefit rather than to be the victim of your experiences. What's happened in the last 3 years is that we've been really shaken up, and that shake up has really moved pieces that were lying dormant. And those pieces will be trauma parts of us, shadow parts of ourselves, wounding, all sorts of things. Way in which we have not been honest with ourselves, way in which we've not been in alignment with ourselves. All of that got shaken up, not just within ourselves, but also in the greater collective. So with that being shaken up, it can be really destabilizing. But a lot of those pieces, because a lot of it's been cleared, the right pieces that is more in alignment with you is starting to fall into place. So what the guides were saying, the specific message around this theme is that the shifts were very intense last year, but they were very much needed to clear what needed to be cleared so that you can more easily align to your unique frequency and your path. So this is really about aligning you to who you truly are, more on a frequency level rather than a mental, or emotional, or physical level, but it will show up on the mental, emotional, and physical level. But it's more on a frequency level that this alignment has happened. So therefore, it's incredibly powerful. And a lot of it wasn't meant to make sense to our minds, because if we were trying to intellectualize it, we lose the powerfulness of those shifts that we actually went through. And what the guys were also saying, sorry about my voice, is that this clarity will bring in a greater sense of connection to the unknown knowing. And in turn, the energy of peace will move more easily. The energy of peace will more easily able to flow through us. So we will be feeling a greater sense of peace, and there's a sense of groundedness. And if I'm tuning into that energy right now and I'm feeling into it, it's almost like there's a groundedness that comes from my heart center and moves all the way down. Oftentimes when we think about grounding, we think about moving from our feet upwards. This groundedness comes from our heart center. And then there's energy of peace that flows. I'm not even sure where it's kind of flowing in from, but it's almost like there's an excess amount of peace energy that resides in our heart center, and that's just kind of emanating out of us. So it's a really, really interesting energy, and I feel that this energy is going to be really, really powerful this month. And I think we're going to need to remember that we've got access to this energy as things start to speed up when we start to enter February. So this month, chill out if you can. All right, let's move on to the second theme. The second theme, this is really interesting. So let me tell you what the theme is first. So it's called Leave the Past in the Past. And it being January, but the guides also said it's a really great opportunity, especially with everything that we've gone through. It's a great opportunity to reflect on what you've been carrying. So what they mean by this is that take a step back, and this theme is really encouraging us to take the time out to take a step back and to be really, really honest with ourselves. I think for many of us, it's really easy for us to lie to ourselves, because then we don't have to face the truth of what we're doing. If we're judging ourselves for something, we can kind of just usher that judgment away, and we can pretend we're actually enacting the story. So this is really about being more honest with ourselves. And I can hear some of you guys, but I've changed so much. I'm so much more honest with myself now than I ever was before. That is true. But that doesn't mean that you cannot be more honest with yourself tomorrow than you are with yourself today. So always remember that will allow you to keep growing, because oftentimes we say, I'm more honest with myself than I've ever been before. I think that's good to recognize it and reflect on that, but don't let that stop you from being more honest tomorrow. So I think it's about growing and expanding. And this theme is also about raising a level of self-awareness, and so that we can make more conscious choices on a day-to-day basis. And what the guides were also saying about this theme is time to leave the past in the past and to stop carrying it into our present and creating our future from this past. So it's really, really interesting. I'm going to repeat that one again. The guides basically said it's time to leave the past in the past, stop carrying it into the present, and creating your future from the past experiences. So really remember that. So take a moment to ask yourself, what am I carrying? What are the baggages I'm carrying? And the way in which this came through, and this actually came through yesterday. I was in a client session yesterday, and the imagery that I got from the guides was like 3 people. And what I got today is 4 people. So imagine like 4 people, 4 versions of yourself. There's an old version of you that is wearing old clothes. There's an old version of you wearing new clothes. There's a new version of you wearing old clothes, and a new version of you wearing new clothes. So just have that in your mindset. And the reason for this is that we're actually moving through those different versions of ourselves wearing those different clothes. So when we are our old version with old clothes, we're not really honest with ourselves. When we then expand our level of awareness, we can recognize the old version of ourselves, but sometimes we're not quite ready to fully change ourselves. So we start to wear new clothes. So our ego thinks, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I'm a new version of myself, but actually you're still the old version of yourself wearing new clothes. So you may have a different belief system, you may have different thought patterns, you may have different ways of looking at things, and that represents the clothes. But the fundamental being that you are, you're still the same. So you're still vibrating at the same frequency. And you can even look at this as like an operating system. So you're still the same operating system. You haven't quite yet upgraded the operating system, yet you've put all this fancy new software on top of it. So you think you are operating in a new way, but actually all you've got is this fancy new software. So that's another way of kind of having a look at it. And then the next progression is when you start becoming and start aligning, which is all the work that we've been doing over the last 3 years. Start aligning and becoming more of this new version of ourselves. sometimes we can feel a bit uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I'm not sure if I really want to be this. Oh, I've outgrown the people, the community, my workplace, my family, and I'm just like, oh, hang on, I need to fit back in. So we start wearing our old clothes again. So we still fully haven't transitioned, and sometimes we can flip back into our old version of ourselves. And then the next kind of phase and the next kind of journey is when we are our new self and we're in new clothes. And this is when we are really, really honest with ourselves, and we've raised our level of self-awareness, and we continue to raise the level of self-awareness. We continue to expand that level of honesty with ourselves, and we continue to make conscious choices moment by moment by moment. And what I'm seeing with all of this is that none of this is set in stone. So if some of you are thinking, oh, I'm already my new version, wearing my new clothes, I'd be like, hang on a second, is that every single moment of every single day? And I bet you the answer is going to be no for that. So that is just your ego getting in the way. So I think what this is about is recognizing in each moment, where are you? Are you the old version of yourself wearing the old clothes? Because right now, something's been triggered in yourself, and you're kind of expressing that old part of you so that it could be released. That is also okay. So I think it's about acknowledging that, right? And then it could be, are you the old version of yourself wearing new clothes? Like, oh, you've learned something new about yourself, and you're testing out these new beliefs, these new thought forms, but you're not quite ready to fully align to the new frequency, because it means that you're going to have to let go of some of these old habits, and you're not quite ready to let go of these old habits. So you kind of stay stuck in this old version of yourself with new clothes. And so it's recognizing that you're there without judging yourself. And then again, the new version of yourself with old clothes, and the new version of yourself with new clothes. So this is all about just moment by moment, notice, where are you? Where exactly are you? And be kind and compassionate to yourself, and notice what you are carrying, and so that you can leave the past in the past. All right, let's move on to the third theme for this month, and this one's called Slow Down to Integrate. And the guides were saying is, rest knowing that what needs to be done will be done. And I think there's a very famous Lao Tzu saying, which is, do nothing and everything is done. So I feel that this theme is really about that. And what their guides were saying, I think I've already mentioned this before, is that it has been an incredibly intense period. And in 2023, things are going to get that much faster. So it's going to be really, really important this month to really slow down and allow things to kind of integrate. And many of you will feel this urgency, but the trick here is to feel the urgency, but not to do anything. This is really about allowing rather than doing. And the key thing for this month is about priority. What is your key priority? Don't try and do everything. Prioritize. Do what you can from the top of your priority list, and however far you get down on that priority list, and let everything else just kind of fall away. It's absolutely okay. This theme really is about trusting in yourself, trusting in your higher self and your guide team, that things are being taken care of. And they're being taken care of in the cosmos, that will then start to take form in the physical dimension without actually doing anything. So what this is really about is that recognizing that when you slow down and allow things to integrate, you're also opening yourself up, allowing yourself to be helped and supported by the cosmos. And what we're going to start to see, because a lot of the work, the reason why this is not about doing and this is more about allowing this theme, a lot of the work we have already done in the last 3 years, and specifically in the last 3 months. And this is really about allowing what needs to fall into place. And the way, the image that I'm kind of getting is just, it's like with everything that's been shaken up and being cleared out, all the pieces are still kind of, for many of us, are still up in the air, and now they're starting to fall into place. So this theme is really about allowing these pieces to just slowly in their own time fall into place. And for that, we need to be open, we need to be trusting, and we need to know that we are being supported, that things are actually happening in the intangible, in the invisible, and then all of a sudden they'll start to appear in the tangible and in the physical dimension. So this is a really, really powerful theme this month. So yeah, take it slow, take it easy, and allow yourself to integrate, because the rest of the year is going to be supersonic. All right, let's move on to the fourth and final theme for this month. And this one is called, and I think again, it's very much linked to the other themes, it's called Hand It Over. So the way in which the guide showed this to me is like, okay, what are you holding on to? What are you trying to do for yourself? What are you wanting? What are you trying to manifest? What are you trying to create? Hand it over. You know, it may be that you write down a list of all the things that you want, write down a list of all your desires, write down a list of all your needs, and just go, here we go, and actually physically hand that piece of paper over to your guides. Or you can burn it, and that's your way of kind of handing it over. So the guides basically said, you know, sit with these questions. What are you desiring? What life do you want to create for yourself? What experiences do you want to have this year? So what do you want? And whatever it is that you want, just kind of recognize how your body reacts to it, how your mind reacts to it, and how your emotions react to it. Are you pulling away from it, or are you pushing them in some ways? It's almost like you want to recognize them, notice them, and then hand that over to the guides. And as you start to hand these things over that you desire to your guides, and you start to follow their lead, what they will start to do is leave like little messages for us. And not only will this kind of strengthen and enhance our intuition and our intuitive abilities, we'll get this sense that we're not actually alone. So we will feel like I mentioned in the last theme, that there is actually a team behind us, that we do have the support, that we are being guided, that we're not alone on this journey, and that, you know, there is a team that is an invisible team that is there co-creating with us. So you'll start to notice, and you'll be able to appreciate the beauty in life in terms of the people that come into your life, the experiences that you have, the conversations that you have, and how much all of that is actually really benefiting you, and it's for your greater good. So you'll start to see life in a completely different way as you start to let go. And it is really about letting go, and it is really about surrendering. And what the guides were also saying is that our desires, your desires are your guiding force, especially when it comes from the heart versus the head. So pay attention, and if you're getting this desire and you're finding yourself feeling really tight or constricted, or wanting to try and control that, ask yourself, is that coming from your head? Is that coming from your heart? Or is this sense of you needing to kind of control this, that you can't quite let go of it? And then allow yourself to explore that kind of constriction, because there's a message there in there for you too as well. And then the other thing that the guides said, that there's something here around, for some of us, and I'm just kind of getting through, like for some of us, we've never been allowed to express our desires. We've never been given the permission to go after what it is that what it is that we desire, because in some ways, based on our upbringing, based on our conditioning, based on our belief system, they've somehow been wrong. So there's some unraveling that's going to happen around that, around the conditionings and around the belief system. So what the guides really want to kind of enforce and say here is that we are here to experience our desires, but we often get in the way of these experiences based on what we think we want, and how we think the form of these desires should take place, and then what is good and what is bad. So a lot of this is mind-made constructs, and also conditioning from our childhood and stuff like that. So follow your desires, and really allow yourself to tune into your heart and allow those desires to come out, and just recognize where you are at with those desires. Do you give yourself the permission to desire what you desire? Are you constricting your desires? Are you shaming your desires? Are you trying to control your desires? Are your desires actually coming from your head? So for example, maybe your desire is to get married, settle down, have a family. Is that truly your desire, or is that a conditioning that you've been brought up with, because that's all that you know, and that's the conditioning that says, okay, if I do all of that, then I'm going to have a really happy life. Is that what you're truly desiring, or is that what your head's desiring? Because what you're truly desiring is to have a fulfilled life. So if that is the desire to have a fulfilled life, let go of it being getting married, having children, and settling down. Just focus on the desire of living a life full of fulfillment. So, so really start to kind of question these desires. And I think just asking yourself, is it coming from my head? Is it coming from my heart? Will help to unravel this. Or even just to say, what is behind this desire? So if you're trying to manifest something like a job or, a community or a relationship or whatever it is, what is behind that desire? What's the desire behind the desire? So I'm going to leave you with that, otherwise I'm going to continue rambling on for this theme for this month. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching these insights. Again, as always, if you've enjoyed them, please do go ahead and share them with your loved ones, your friends, your colleagues, your family, and feel free to comment below. And then if you're watching this on Instagram, give us a heart, or on Facebook, give us a heart. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for all of those of you that have already subscribed. I really do appreciate it. And then if you're looking for additional support this month, come and join the energetic alignment session, which is our group healing journeys, and that's taking place on Sunday the 29th of January at our usual time, 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. And the theme this month is slow down to integrate. So thank you again, and I will see you guys all next month. Bye for now.